Okay, we're back live. I hope the sound is working better now. Crossing my fingers for this to work. So this is game 3. This is Buddy's second home map, and it picked Arena. At least if I got the timestamps on the recordings correct. No guarantees here. We might see upsets. Anyway, look at this generation. That's a really weird Arena generation. They are just next door neighbors here. So I don't think I've seen a generation in 1v1 for Arena like this in a long time. So at least they both have some decent space in the back, and Buddy a bit more lucky with both back gold and back stone here. But this crossing here is just too damn close. Ridiculous. Anyway, Arena. Slabs here, strong siege, strong infantry. Just, yeah, pretty crazy if you can get to Imperial Age with the slabs with the Drushina unique tech upgrade, because then the infantry damage adjacent units, they deal splash damage. So having whatever kind of infantry in the late game with slabs and unique tech together with your siege is just crazy. Then again, you have Lithuanians. Well, if you can get to the relics, they have fantastic cavalry. They get +4 attack for free from the relics. I mean, if you have 1+1 attack per relic up until 4 relics. So that's something Lithuanians really want to contest. But this arena map just looks made for a castle drop. I don't know if that suits really whether either slabs or Lithuanians as the style, but it could definitely be done as an offensive measure here. Neman actually gets into Buddy's base here, follows the scout in, and actually doesn't know too much about the map already. This is just a ridiculous arena map again, but let's just fast forward and see if it's going to be fast castle or what they're doing here. So tries to chase, being a little bit annoying. You don't usually get loom on Arena, so having a scout roaming inside your base, although that means your opponent will lose the scout eventually, could still cause some discomfort for your enemy. And even just staying around, being as annoying as possible here, almost actually managing to pick off by this scout here. And now finds the unloved villager, but doesn't manage to pick it off in time as Buddy brings in villagers to defend. Villager count dead even here. To be expected on a closed map like this. Not really much to disturb you other than the scout roaming around here. That also means less scouting intel for Neman here, so that's bad news for him. Tougher to find the relics, you'll need to add some more stuff to do so. Neman going first to the field age though, and probably will go straight for the castle age with this setup. He has the cheap farms, so you could, no, not cheap farms, but what is it, faster working farms? I don't remember. Have to double check. Yeah, farmers work 10% faster, so you have a quicker food income with slabs. Lithuanians player going barracks stable here. And very close to be finished house. So stable market. No blacksmith. Surprisingly enough. I haven't seen that approach too many times, but why not? Might need the market to adjust a little bit here. Could be that's the reasoning behind it. A bit too few farms, just a preemptive measure to make sure you will have the food to pick up. But, however, his opponent already on the way to the next age with 27 villagers. That's effectively 28 popcast age as he lost his scout. But that's still also 2 villagers behind Buddy here in the team, who probably has some scouts map control planned here with this current setup. So once again, Arena, pretty slow map, we're just moving forward here. Scouts of course on the field from the other player as well. This is a contest for map control, and yet again Neman kind of breaks in here. Like slabs and post-imp, only need to hold, yeah exactly. They're crazy and post-imp. Should be beating Lithuanians there, but we're still a bit far away from post-imp here. So Buddy now with spear and scout on the field, and Neman meanwhile getting his scouting intel down. He was missing, lost his initial scout, so he has some work to do here to find the relics locations. Castle Age in for both players. Monastery up for, actually only for Buddy for now. So he will have a head start to the relics hunting here. Maybe Neman has other plans just to boom up to him and do the thing that Slavs can do later on. Also, Neman has still only found 2 of the relics, loses 1 weak scout now, I think, but he will bring in some army to deal with this as well. Now he's keeping his scouts at home, now pulling them here now. Neman sees the other 2 scouts and backs off, of course. Now a knight on the field for Neman as well. This means trouble for Buddy's knights here, scouts here. But backs off, actually gets some nice hits in there, so... And now could also bring the scouts back for healing here. Only scouts for Neman for the moment, and monks obviously wants to get those relics. Didn't actually capture any relics yet. And it's only 2 TCs for Buddy for now. It seems he will be falling behind them because the Slavs player already on 3 TCs and quite a few more farms here. So that could already suggest that Neman will have an early MPLA share because he will simply have a much stronger eco setup. But meanwhile, Buddy takes the map control with the scouts here, so that's obviously very significant. With Lithuanians, you're desperate for at least 4 relics just to make use of that bonus for cavalry, which we will be using later on. But not really utilizing the scouts optimally here now is will be losing this relic to Neman unless he's paying attention here now. Let's have a look at Buddy's point of view. Could arguably see that the relic has been lost from this location now, but it will not be stopped in time. So Neman secures one relic here, and he has another one here so close to his base that's going to be tough for Buddy to contest here. Tries to get the conversion here now, still blue, but Neman simply deletes it, doesn't want to give away free army to his enemy. I think the scouts now are after the monk going for this relic now, so nice awareness from Buddy to see that might be happening here. He knows maybe the location of the monster here. Yeah, he's in the foundation, so he knows that's where the monks will be coming, but this monk will get this one and sneak in. That means only maximum 3 relics for him. The thing is 1, 2, 3, 4 AKSD. I checked the VOD and the sound was just fine. So unless it's very unbalanced, like sound-wise, I could I could turn down the general volume. If it's too high or something, I could try and adjust it. But I don't know. Could you describe the sound issue, kind of? Some benefit gets the better sound, yeah. It's really weird though that other streams had good quality for you and not this one. That doesn't make sense really. Vululu. It's the big fight of the spearmen here, but Neman gets the conversions down. He's actually contesting quite a few of the relics now. It's 2 to 3 relics. So he got 2 relics, means he in the Lithuanian player isn't getting the full bonus. But still, 3 relics, decent for the Lithuanians for sure, and of course they have very strong monks as well. Leave the monastery and maybe even work faster, getting sanctity now for his monks. And also on the 3 TC boom, so we'll be catching up here 68 to 64. I think the Knight's production may have delayed Neman's boom a little bit here, but he's taking serious map control now with both his own and the converted spearmen and some monks here. Alcoller, is the sound okay on your side as well? Wow, after restarting my browser it works. Weird. Nah, you know, I appreciate the feedback. And we don't know if it was just you. So I'm just glad it works out now. I'm using a double laptop setup with a capture card in between, so that can cause issues sometimes. With, I mean, if there's a loose cable or anything. Sometimes I had the sound like being distorted, so the voices of every unit were pitched down a lot, so that was kind of weird. And you can't really know about these issues unless you're watching the VOD yourself or getting feedback from the stream, so just good to have it checked. So looking at villager counts here, military counts, slightly... Yes, Superman Lithuanians have champs, and I think they have nearly fully upgraded champs. Let's see, there's champion. And only, well, they're missing the last armor. So that's actually huge against Slavs that Lithuanians are missing the last armor, but because that makes it tough for them. So what's Neman's plan here? Does he want to push a little bit with the monks here? Castle already up for Buddy here, defensive on gold here. Also allows for Lightis production here. But from the setup here, could be trying a monk and siege push as well. Oh, look at the boom from Neman here. He's still on 3 TCs, but really extending this farm eco. I should toggle this eco a little bit just to see. He's on the... That's Neman on the way to Imp. He's both on the way to Imp, of course, but Neman with a significant start here with very much food and gold to back it. Not too heavy on wood, so that doesn't suggest any kind of siege play for me. I don't know if he's thinking about going for the bow yards against the Lithuanian knights or whatnot, but yeah, there's a little bit of siege on the field here and quite a bit of production, but pikes and siege probably to become halves soon enough. But look at the Magnonel from Buddy here. Gets a 1-for-1. I think I will... Oh, okay, actually he chooses not to pull it back, just to not allow any army of Neman inside. I'm not sure if that was the right call there, even though it would have been annoying, of course. A little bit fascinating that he has both spearmen and pikemen at the field at the same time here, because some of these guys were converted, I guess, and not... What size of the map? It's... well, it should be 2-player, right? I think it's just a map generation that that happened this way. Yeah, it's a very strange, strange crossing between the players here. So forward castle for Neman just, and he's with the head start to the Imperial Age. So nice Magnonel defense here. I wonder if Buddy has redemption here. Actually, Lightis with the +3, missing some armor looks like. But they could still, this small amount of halberdiers, they could surely handle. But looks like one Magnonel will go down here. But it's going to be 3 castles for Buddy here. Pretty heavy commitment to Lightis here. I guess it's not the worst play because that could... they ignore armor, so they will do nicely in many kinds of fights here. But... and especially against siege as well, I guess. But there are, of course, helps on the field from the stats player. You want to have helps against Lithuanians that are mainly a cavalry civ. And looking at the ecos as well, it's just so much more resources in the bank from even with this commitment here to production from both players. The scores look pretty even though, and the population's deadly similar as well, but military count slightly in favor of Buddy here. His walls are reached, the siege ram is out for Neman here, but if Buddy can hold and get enough Lightis on the field and other kinds of units, maybe redemption monks here to deal with the siege, I think he's going to convert the siege ram here now. And Light is running forward, but that's a horrible fight to run into the house here. I mean, they win 1-1 since they ignore armor like this, but... Okay, so not the critical amount of house for an even here. That was a much better engagement than I thought it would be, but here you see more barracks dropped. In the long run, this will still be a very little cost-efficient trade for the Lytis here. But 3 castle production of Lytis is no joke, and you won't really be getting any raids in easily here, especially not with the infantry. It's looking good for the Lithuanian players so far. He's about to take down the castle here with Lytis only. Kind of fascinating. Yeah, there's a trap firing away as well, but... Now bringing some villagers forward here, and Toggle Buddy's point of view again, dropping yet another castle. Committing heavily to the castle play here. I mean, it seems like the right play for now with the Lytis here, because it's really slowing Neman's forward down here. There are quite a few barracks coming up, but with some trebs and cap ram, this is battering ram, but if you add some cap rams, you would be able to take out the barracks more easily as well, and the Lytis surely do a decent job as well. They are military numbers, no joke now, it's 34-7 military here, so Neman may have overcommitted to the boom here with less production, especially on the field, but also the walls being this close is not favoring any of the players. It's perfect for castle drops as we can see, and Buddy now with a significant score lead, also with the population lead here, and taking the neutral golds here. So Buddy doesn't want to let this go down. He is down to 0 after all. Meanwhile, a defensive castle is coming up for Neman here, but Trebs should have no trouble handling that one. Of course, needs to address the production on the field first. Doesn't want Halbs running in continuously here on his army. And the 6+3 and 4+3. Now I didn't check if he took Drushina. This could be Drushina, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, he's getting Drushina now, so that's going to have the infantry cost splash damage. That would make the Halberdiers even tougher for the Lytis to handle once the Halberdiers reach the critical mass. But Neman calls the GG here. Understandably under heavy siege here with lots of Lytis raiding his eco, and also down almost 40 villagers by now, and not to mention the military count. So there we go. Score is now 1-2, or 2-1 if you will. So let's do a quick look at the stats. Score lead again, not surprisingly, eco lead. That still surprises me a bit, considering there are, yeah, only, okay, both players on 3 TCs finally, so then it's the army presence and production that dictates the eco difference in the end. Up times significantly earlier for Neman here to both ages, but didn't really pay off enough. Maybe a bit impatient on the push. Could have taken time to add more siege or more halbs in the process. But then again, Light is very, very strong unit, and with 3 relics as well, it's 3 extra free attack for them. Right, now to pull up the next game, and bring up the boss screen here again, or idle screen. Just need to check the timestamps here to make sure I get the right order. Okay, so it looks like we have Baltic for the next one here. Yeah, draft lagging behind. I need to fix that one. I can update that one as well. I'm gonna just take a time to add the draft as well. There we go. Hope we got all of it there. Now let's also move on to the next one here with Baltic, Neman's home map. So starts with bringing the town bill here with the Huns, just to bring in the villagers as quickly as possible. Nice little trick. This is the day of strange map generations. Look at this this big fat lake here with a large opening on this side. It's just huge narrow area the whole way around, no resources to fight for other than wood. But all these woodlands also easily reachable, except for this one, by galley fire later on in the late game. So not great at all. And look at the golds here. Gold here, gold here, gold here, stone. Beautiful map for Neman here. Whereas Buddy has, yeah, side gold in the back here, stone in the back as well. But then again, main gold forward-ish and this side gold all way over here. Would almost have gold array on this. But then again, you don't know what your opponent's map looks like before minute 4. So easier said than done. And then for the civs here, Malay for a water or hybrid map like this, obvious choice. They age up so much more quickly than the opponent, so you could easily get to feudal age first and get your ships out and get the numbers up before your opponent, or simply go up with more population and support more production early on. Neman, on the other hand, with Huns, maybe more obvious choice for land maps, open land maps, because they do start with 100 less wood. So your dock will, in most cases, be delayed. Then again, for water play with Huns, you never need to think about being housed when adding fish or army on water and land simultaneously. So could also prove efficient for Huns once they get their wood eco going, and of course not needing to build houses throughout the whole game. You save a lot of wood in that respect as well. But we had a scout fight here on the other hand. Buddy picks off Neman's scout before he can get too much of scouting done here, but he knows the location of the boars, maybe one of the more significant things here. Could be that he thought he would win that fight up on the hill as well, but this villager very much in danger during the lure now. That could be blocked by Buddy here, but very weak scout, so he wouldn't risk that, of course, with only 3 HP. And here actually comes the dock soon, I believe. He's going to collect some food with the fisherman first, but kind of risky again with the scout here, but scout is weak, so the villager will win that fight easily. Yeah, now collecting a little bit of food, then we'll drop the dock, and once the dock is up, the villager will drop the food to the dock. So, surprisingly enough, Neman is the first one to dock here, with the Malay player right behind there. Buddy also docking, and the docks pretty close to each other. And I think Buddy is aware of this ish. He saw the villager here, so he would be suspecting a dock here. Means that if he places his own dock here and he gets up to the next stage more quickly, he will have a huge advantage with his army. He could just pick off. He could get the numbers out more early, most likely, and then just simply stop production on the other side here with the opponent dock so close. pay a little bit attention to the villager counts here. Both players adding fish consistently here, also taking their boars for the food income, so no significant difference here. Good evening, Mr. Adam. Nice of you to tune in. We'll be doing your game set after this set, of course. But I just, yeah, took them, chose to take them in the order of play here. So, somewhat surprising to see the Hunts player up first here, but then again, Buddy is up with more population overall, dropping his second dock, but the Hunts player with 3 docks. Yeah, exactly, need to see your next match, that's true. No worries, man, it's just fun to catch a bit of the action here. So it's 3 docks against 2 for the Malay player here. Arguably, maybe with doesn't even have the means to sustain triple dock production. He doesn't just yet. He's only producing out of 2 from what I can tell. But still, with the means to produce from 3 docks, once he can get the gold income running as well, he should be at an advantage here. But that means that you really need to be producing out all 3 docks, and there's only 2 docks producing for now. Meanwhile, the Malay player is of course producing out of both of these docks, and Buddy here with also, I think they both have, there's a bit more on gold for Neman, so we could see ship numbers spiking up for him. See all 3 docks producing now, so that's good news for the red player here for now, but yet again he's up against Malay, so with a quicker castle age, which is absolutely possible being Malay, then we could be seeing water easily won back, even falling behind in numbers now in the feudal age. So you see all of these dots here, they are deep fish, so water is very significant for the eco in the long run here in this on this map. You want to get your fish eco going, because that's basically free food income for long run, a long way, only investing 75 wood into the fishing ships. But let's look at the military here. Neman with 6 against 5. He has 6 ships, 7 ships against 4 now, so it's definitely a ship lead for the red player here, but he risks running into demo fire here if he doesn't pay attention, and he doesn't have any galleys on the field to snipe any demos. So, but goes for the fish here, wants to decrease the fish boom of his opponent here. A valid play against Malay here. 3 on food for Neman, it's 9 on food for... 9 on food, 10 on food now for Neman, and only 3 on food for Buddy, so could already suggest that Buddy will be the one getting to the next stage more quickly here, because you really need food and gold for that. Also some repair micro going on here, taking some decent fights, but losing more than gaining here. But keeps the fishing ships out of the galley fire for now, and with the fire galleys fighting this close to these fire ships, there's a very high risk of getting demo ships shot at you. But here we go. Buddy calls the GG after only 15 minutes of play. So a strong performance by Neman playing Hunts here and actually beating Malay on a map like this. So let me update the score for a bit here. So very quick look at the stats, and we'll move into game 5 after that. KD 10 to 3, that's some significant losses on water for Buddy here. Eco, more wood, less gold collected, surprisingly. So being Malay, the uptimes can be a bit iffy. You get up much more quickly, but it's when you get up that quickly, it's also harder to set up your eco, especially when aiming for the cast stage. But this game never made it to cast stage. Both players in field land. It's over at 15 minutes here. See the constant military lead here for Neman with roughly the same uptime as the Malay player here. Alright, let's bring up the next one. So for the next game we are going to Tudeberg. Allies Votok. Blir det TGS i kveld? Kanskje det? Jeg skal sende turnering en stund til, men du får prøve å tagge folk og se om de spiller. Jeg spiller gjerne når jeg er ferdig å caste, men det blir en liten stund til. So we're moving on to the world now, the infamous map where you start without a scout. But your sheep should spawn close to your TC, so you will have sheep to scout early on here. So let's have a look at the spawns here. I'd say these players spawn pretty close here on either side, so should prove good for Magias here with a bit of mobility. They have the option to go for scouts early on, and with the limited scouting you get from sheep scouting like this, it's tougher to full wall your map in time as well. So indeed, and the Magyar scouts opening could be very good here, assuming our... whoa, slaughtering sheep all the way out there, that must have been a misclick. Assuming you are able to find your boars in time with your scouting. It looks like both of Neman's boars are out here. It's missed them by just a small tile here. But does have a little bit of food to eat meanwhile, and he is Magyars here, yeah, so scouting only with one sheep for now. It could be a bit of a rough start for Neman here. I'm sure he didn't really mean to kill that sheep, so this could cause some idle time pretty soon here, assuming he doesn't. Well, he's found the berries, so he will have some kind of food income here. Looking a bit at the resources as well, looks like both golds and stones are pretty forward here for Neman. That would suggest him being the aggressor early on. Let's see what Buddy's scouting is like on the other side meanwhile. Also scouting a little bit with villagers here. Hasn't found any of the boars. And with Britain's sheep running out faster, the shepherds work faster. You could be in a bit of a pickle here. This boar is spawned in the middle of a wood line as well, so that's only one tile gap there. That's going to be a pretty tough run for Buddy here, but he brings in the other boar, so he found it in time here. So good work from Buddy there, scouting with the villager and finding it just in time. Missing a couple of sheep from out here though, so that's the significance of losing your... or not finding your sheep early enough. You will be very limited in the scouting bit, but that goes for both players in this game. So fortunately for Neman, he's found one boar, probably, hopefully, yeah, he actually brought in both boars already. Looks like it. So he found both boars over here, so he is fine. And also him missing 2 sheep, so then bit of an unfortunate, missing 4 sheep, that's huge actually. Probably won't be seeing a scouts opening after all, then more be wall off. Fast castle, farm booming. There's the second boar. I missed it behind the woodlines there. But Buddy may need to go into farms here because he hasn't found the boar behind the woodline there. He's hiding near the edge of it. Boars don't really spawn that far out as often, so that's really bad luck for Buddy here. But he's gone to the berries and he is committing a little bit more to wood. So I guess we'll be seeing farms added soon from Buddy here just to compensate for the missing boar and sheep, which are 4 sheep total. Real bad luck, bad start for Buddy here on the infamous map Tudeberg without the scout. Even taking shorefish here, that's a nice call, considering you are an hunt, considering you are missing your second boar. That's a nice adaptation there, and at the cost of some idle time, but nothing too significant here. Also not as dependent of the early food eco being Britons, as you will be going for the wood and gold heavy archers instead of scouts for this map. I have seen scouts being played on this map as well, though, because you would want that for the map control and the general scouting on play. So I've seen that being played scouts by Britons as well, so you shouldn't rule it out completely. But we should expect to see mainly archers from Britons here. Now, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit here to see about the field action. Villager scouting here from Neman actually, so he's actually committing one villager to scout and try and find the enemy, but he's scouting the wrong direction for the moment. One villager lead, none of the players going up, but Dark Age Field HQ now for Neman. He will have a significant head start to Field Age here against Britons with now pretty heavy on the farming. 11 farms already, that's going to impair Archer's production here, but that could also mean a straight fast castle here for Buddy. Something I think won't be punished in time by the Magyar's player here unless... yeah, he's dropping the barracks just now, so it's not really going to be any very quick feudal aggression here. So I think maybe even Buddy will be able to wall off most of his map in time and get to Castle Age and get those archers out. Looks like a fast castle style build for both players. Actually, scouts and spears from Neman here, so not going castle age just yet. Could be wanting to exploit that feudal head start. Not dropping forward production here. There we go. I missed that. Both ranged and stables here. So no gaps here. So some nice walling. Looks like Buddy is full walled here. Albeit with very, very limited scouting intel. Having the walls down, this could be disastrous in the long run. Should be clicking the next stage where you should now getting the blacksmith market up. Meanwhile, you see Neman investing into military here, a couple of scouts and some archers, but he will be up against the opponent being in the castle age. Don't tell me he hasn't found his opponent yet. He must know by now that he's around here somewhere. Could be that he goes to scout in that direction, but surely he must be finding him soon. Populations not too different here. It's Neman with a significant military lead. There is 6 military total. That's scouts and archers here. Now he sees the walls. Will be exploiting this for sure and try and find the opening. Even docks here. We could be seeing a transport masterpiece here from the dock, but finds a hole, so no need for the dock after all. That's a pity for Buddy not seeing this opening. Of course, some of this probably the potential for a straggler chopping and building through here as well, but scouts get in, not really dealing damage just yet. It's a total of 5 scouts on the field now and a few archers as well, so spearmen won't help all that much for the Britons player. Pretty decently set up for the next age here, but no military production whatsoever, no range, no stables, no nothing, no defense for Buddy here. That's nice walling in towards the TC here though, gets the walling towards the TC up here, but there are scouts on the field as well, so there are archers on the field as well, so the villager on berries, although quick wall, will go down here. Neman committing heavily to feudal age here though is of course extend his farm eco pretty heavily on gold as well, but it looks like he's committing to feudal play for a while longer here. That's fine as long as his opponent doesn't go for any military, but double TC drop and siege workshop drop here from Buddy, so he seems ready to invest. I don't quite see the application of siege here. He's seen a few archers of course, but then there are scouts as well, and with 8 scouts should surely be able to handle siege as well. And with the attack, free extra attack for Magyars, they even break through the walls more easily, I think. But nice quick walls from Buddy here again. The archers on the field, they don't have fletching, so they will be having a tougher time sniping the builders as well. But 8 scouts are in now, got the arbor upgrade as well. TC is very, very cramped here. Buddy is cramped up in his own corner here, and by this Neman is pretty much taking control over the whole map here. Nice Magadon hit there though, gets a few archers. forward villager in for Neman here, still committing to Feudal Age. Is he going to win this in Feudal Age against a player up in the Castle Age? Could be. Now docking this pawn as well. It could be that Neman is thinking that there are fish here as well, or he wants to get some galleys and meme out a bit with some range from water here. Many options here. Or there's a potential for fish traps, just extend the food eco. A little bit of market adjustment here though, it's an easy task for anyone to click up to the next stage, but he probably just waits for his farm eco to kick in. Here he has probably a villager lead by now since he's picked off a few villagers, and he's being generally annoying here, now dropping a forward stable inside his opponent's base as well. Now I still don't see this match being won in Feudal Age up against Castle Age here, but there still is barely any military presence for Britons here. It's only Siege Workshop, and that's not going to do much against the scouts because they're so mobile, they'll just dodge the hits. Of course they will take lots of damage if he should get a mangled hit in, but here comes the barracks. So pikemen will be on the field soon enough, that should be enough to deal with scouts here, but they are being annoying as crazy here. And just trying to snipe a villager here and there and force some garrisoning idle time. And Neman is with a 9-1 military lead here. Manuel firing away at the forward stable here now, so the forward stable might not do so much. Should be seeing the Castle Age flick just about now. There it is for Neman. And just completely being very annoying and dictating the pace and pressure of this game, you know, causing 24 idles. That's twice as many villagers working for Neman at the moment, who is untouched at home and has military presence very close to his enemy's base. Yeah, as well, galleys on the field as well. Bit of a micro-nerding here, dodging the mangonel shots, but then there's some repair micros. So look at this! Just playing around, and now sends the scouts in maybe to deal with the mangonel here. Which is just a pure meme play right here, just docking the small pawn and bringing out the galley. Another galley! Could of course also argue that this makes it tougher for the Britain's players' archers to expand from this area. But mainly it's probably more of an annoyance than anything else. I'm looking at the ecos here as well, looks much more healthy for the red player overall. He hasn't been touched after all, but the Mangonel gets a hit on the ship finally, cleans up this, but again there's a small annoyance to deal with here. Look at the demo as well, so you won't be going too close to the shoreline here. Another forward stable being dropped as well. Castle Age will kick in, and Neman will have the means to produce quite a few knights here. Also floating lots of wood, could produce more or less anything here. Monastery going up from Buddy here in anticipation of the knights soon to come in the Castle Age. But Buddy, yeah, floating wood and gold here, but not really able to use the Britons for what they're worth in any way, because there's still no archery range from the Britons player here. He's just cramped up in his corner. Here comes the archery range, so he's desperate for some army production here. Also places up some house foundations there, just to try and keep the forward collection of Neman out there. But here are the knights already with a +1 and +2. They get the attack for free, being Magyars. And only spearmen from the British player won't really do too much in this setup. Yeah, this looks very much like Neman's game for now. Even though the scores are even, the KDs are also in favor of Buddy here. The ecos are just vastly different here. It's actually low on food now, should suggest some extensive scouts and villager production from Neman here. But it's actually more villagers for the British player still. It was up to the Castle Age way earlier, so that helps the boom, but that doesn't help the fact that he's completely cramped up in his own area here. There's a galley out on the water again, just sneakily firing at the Mangonel here. Knights being brought out, but with this many spears he will actually lose rather easily. Still get some hits in because of the extra or the +2 attack, but goes down. But looks like some siege is being added by our red player as well now, has hidden the sea effect as he's going for siege over to this end now, and archers won't do anything against that, of course. Monks on the field to chase away the scouts and knights as well, or the knights specifically. So very good defense from Buddy here so far, and he's now dropping his third archery range. If he can get the crossbow production going, he will be certainly have the ability to strike down a few knights, but it's Neman with villager lead now has extended to 3 TCs at home, committing pretty heavily to wood for now. That could be the siege switch going on for him, and floating very much wood. And now with 2 mangonels, unprotected mangonels firing away for him. Could probably lose both here to this Britain's knight, so that's real bad news for him. Yeah, thinks his own knights around now, but that's two mangonels just down the drain for himself, but it just adds more as he has the eco to support it. Actually running kind of low on gold, probably needs to commit a few more to gold by now, but otherwise still extending the forward, being constantly annoying and keeping the whole map for himself. You see, Buddy hasn't even scouted whatever is happening. He's seen the siege workshop, but that's about it here. There's a castle that could put a stopper to a mangonel push, but that's not to stop the mangonel from sneaking down here and hit the protection instead. I wonder if Neman sees the castle going up here. He doesn't see it, might be suspecting something. There comes a nice mangonel hit for Neman, takes out the monk. Only archers for the Britain's player just now, but at least with the extra attack. Here is crossbow has kicked in now. This massive crossbows should be able to 1 or 2 shot knights, even though knights have +2 armor, and the castle is up. And finally, Buddy is in a position to expand here. Does he have enough castle for another? Enough stuff for another castle? He doesn't, but he's dropping it easy on this neutral gold, and it's getting dangerously close to his opponent's home base, although he still hasn't had the opportunity to scout anything here. Ballistics coming in for Buddy as well. He has a significant mass of crossbows by now. He's now up to 22 military, so he's holding on nicely here. Now dropping an outpost as well to get some valuable map intel here. Moves forward now, finally sees the first TC of his opponent. Can use the superior range here to actually snipe the TC with only archers here, but goes for a siege workshop drop as well, and now wants to go for the counter attack here. But look at the power display from Neman here. He's already got enough stone to drop the castle. He will be subject to crossbow fire, but then again he has villagers garrisoned inside his TC that helps out against crossbow fire here, and this castle will of course put a stopper to any siege forward here, and also the potential for gold mining from Buddy here. So scores pretty similar between the two players. KD pretty similar as well, populations, but there is more military on the field for Buddy here. Dodges, of course, the castle going up here, and moves on with crossbows to try and looking to deal some damage to his opponent. Another TC going up for Neman here. Securing this gold, and of course providing some defense against archer fire here, but he will be losing at least a couple of villagers here if Buddy is paying attention and he sees the town center foundation going up. It will go up, but not at any cost. Losing some villagers here now, and even though Neman still has the villager lead, he is losing significant numbers here. But he tries to add some siege, some rams to deal with the castle here, but with Magyar Hussars on the field, that's just not really an option. They are so strong as siege. Being chased by the knight here as well, brings the crossbows in, could snipe a lot of unbuilt farms here if he's paying attention here, but loses again lots of HP to TC fire here. Now going for the petards again. I like this move from Buddy here. That's also a way to take down opponent's castle for sure. But he will need significant numbers. His queuing for petards is arguably also, let's be strict and say, a waste of food. Unbuilt farms are a visual bug. Oh, are they? Okay, I didn't know that, but... okay, there's food on them. Never mind them. That's good to know. Otherwise, this would be pretty bad for Neman. Siege added again, but there are knights on the field to deal with. There's some attacking still, exploiting the pond here. Neman is even added the transport ship, so wants to use the transport ship. And these walls won't help since the transport ship is bringing the knights into raid on the other side. That's such a sneaky, memey move right there. So with galleys on both ponds, I can't believe that the Neman would actually think about dropping docks on both ponds here and use that to take map control with galleys. Just a really next level move. And now Rams forward for Neman here, dealing with at least one forward castle here. Both players looking to commit to castle age play here is nowhere near the click up just yet. But one TC goes down for Buddy here as the Neman just refuses any expansion and is taking map control, adding some forward villagers here as well. Is that going to be... well, it's probably going to be more. Now he's going for neutral gold, but he already is as well, so he's using building foundation to get some vision on the neutral resources here. So this could be intercepted by Buddy if he has the army to deal with it. He still has some crossbows forward as well and has kept taking some villagers off farms here, but Neman still with 114 to 79 villager lead now, and keeping the steel control over the map here, not allowing in the significant expansion. But he's mining stone again, wants to go for more defensive castles, now dropping stables to... well, could it be a light cavalry raiding maybe now? It's not really set up for that eco-wise. But maybe to deal with any more siege coming forward. But the completely idle now is eco doesn't support too much production. He supports more archers though, if that's his continued play. Now some knights on the field here for Neman to deal with the rest of Buddy's forward archers, and I think 2 knights against these 3 archers, even a choke point won't save them here. And looking at villager count now, 15 to 21, so nothing peculiar for either player here. So galleys making a bit of trouble here. I have to say, Buddy has held on very nicely to his home field base here. He still has a little bit of gold to take, but what does he do when the gold runs out? He is mining gold here and is defending with some towers, so he has gold access for sure. Still has 3 patches of gold here, but that's going to be subject to cav, archer and knights aggression, and maybe even the galleys here. So petards in production again. Look at this mass of petards, and Neman is doing exactly the same thing here. He's been thinking the same thing, and if his buddy is not careful now, the petards will ungarrison before he can use them as a surprise attack here. Petards are out, loses 1 to Castle Fire. Oh, Slow Boy is losing another one. I think Neman is focusing fire now to try and deal with the petards before they can get there. And it's just not going to be enough. Almost takes the castle down, but it's not enough. And Neman's Rams will just not deal with the castle in time here. Even with cover fire from his own castle, it's not enough. So lucky for Buddy there, and good work to send in enough repair villagers to keep this castle alive. That's also vital to deny any enemy army entrance from this side. So knights here raiding around, making life difficult for Buddy here. He's now down 30 villagers still. Both castles still up here, but Neman isn't even committing to repairs. Maybe he's out of stone. Now he's about 230 stone, but he seems confident in that it will stay up, but now commits villagers to repairing here, and Magyar Hussars are coming out. I'm not sure if he has the unique text that makes them cost only gold, but gold is not usually for him anyway. He has a pretty nice amount of gold in his base here now, not really spending it. Could be that he will opt for Imperial Age quite soon. He has the castle, so he has the required buildings anyway. Yeah, so Mega Resource alright. Both players repair their castles and keeping them up here. But the running kind of low on resources though is out of gold very soon in his home base here, so if Neman forces an offensive on this side with siege or knights or cavaliers or whatnot, then Buddy will be in huge gold trouble. Score lead here, 1500 score lead for Neman here. That could be Ikoski speaking for him as well, and he is going up to the Imperial Age, something that Buddy is still very far away from with his current setup. Galleys denying any movement in this direction, even from the crossbows, and the knights numbers, army numbers increasing for Neman here is quite a few stables on the side there, 2 stables, 2 ranges, siege workshops. He's just dictating the pace of the game at his own discretion here, and running in with quite a bit of knights now. It's just as many knights as crossbows, or roughly as many, so it takes Buddy off this gold. No gold control there anymore. With garrison villagers and town centers here firing at the knights will be taking losses though, but Neman has still has the means to replenish army, picks off army of his opponent, chooses to do that, and is with double the army amount here now overall. Yeah, looks tough for Buddy at this moment. He's been taken off all of his golds here by this raid. As mentioned earlier, this gold is also out of bounds for him, considering that there's a castle from his opponent right next to it. He's mining stone heavily, he's collecting stone, but so he could sell stone for gold here as well. Dropping a defensive castle here now, doesn't want knights and siege to pass further, but Neman as well with the means to drop a castle soon will probably get his trebs out or take into Captran and deal with this castle before Buddy can get the trebs on his own. So nice map awareness from Neman here to deny these golds here and just make sure that Buddy can't take his golds here, and being out of gold most likely. Let's have a look. Yeah, only 3 gold mines from Buddy and 47 gold in the bank, no food. Forced to call the GG here. Still, I'd say it was a pretty even match. They were rough start for Buddy with the board behind the woodlines there, almost obtainable but not trapped after all. So tough lure, didn't find it in the early stages, so that sets you back big time for sure. And the eco villager lead much higher for Neman in the end, really went for the big boom with at least 4, maybe 5 TCs in the end. 1, 2, 3. I think it was 4 TCs and pretty good production, and scouted them up with villagers early on as well, nomad style, and found his opponent and dropped some forward army buildings and just never let go of the pressure and forced his opponent to stay in his little corner here with starving him for resources in the end, so he didn't have any gold left in his base and the side golds were also being denied, and that puts you in a real rough spot. So brings the score to 4-1 for Neman in the end. Congratulations upon reaching the final. Yes, indeed, the show must go on. I'm just gonna bring up the draft here real quick. It's put in as a exclamation mark draft. You will have this list as well. So just a quick look here. Golfs that has to be for ES modes, I believe, because Man at Arms towers are just walling your opponent out, or they can just be so strong there. For the production, humans. Likely for Arena for Felixaldi, I would think, could be likely sim. Malay, of course, great for Arena as well, but Malay and Italians, Japanese, typical water hybrid map saves, more like for Baltic and the Danube, I'd say. Persians and well, Mongols and Saracens also maybe the better options for hybrid maps here, so not too much obvious hybrid map picking seeds from Adham here. So we'll see. Oh, you heard there are some really good games in this series? Nice. We'll look forward to it then. Anyway, this list here is also in the put in as a command. So let me just put up the score here. And pull up the first game very soon. So a bit worried about frame drops now, but let's hope it won't be too much of an issue. I have the green light again now. And we'll hop into game 1, Graveyards. Here you go, I hope you have sound, at least I can hear stuff here. So Adam here in the red playing as Persians, not a bad pick at all for maps with potential for docking and water here. Persians could dock immediately if they want to with their extra starting wood. But looks like Adam changed his mind about the house placement here, so we lost a little bit of wood in that process. Not a big deal, of course. Felixaldi looks pretty unlucky here with his starting spawn. Everything is uphill from his TC. Means buildings, foundations, placements are a bit awkward, and the gold here. I mean, it's a huge section to wall off as well, but at least towards his enemy's side we have this big section here. If you can control this hill, he should be okay-ish. He is Japanese, so that means his fishing ships will have double the HP. That's always good news when you're trying to exploit some deep fish and fish boom like this, because it will simply be so much harder to take you off that food eco. So both players getting a grasp of their resources now. Both boars found for Adam here. Felixaldi getting the sheep, has yet to find the boars, I believe. I think there was one on the hill here that he just missed. And yeah, we'll find a couple of sheep there. Where's the other boar? Has he taken it already, or? Oh, I'm blind to boars today. Anyway, there's one on the hill here, so he'll find that one. And this is the other one, so yeah, he has good grasp of his resources as well. Now let's move on and see how they will play things in feudal. Persians, most likely to go scouts, I would say. They could go Drush archers or whatever as well, but they are mainly a cavalry civ. Drush fast castle could be an option as well with a map like this, and decent wall off towards at least its edges here. Forward resources for Adam as well, though. Main gold right next to the woodlands, stone right next to the woodlands, well, that's a bit awkward. Already preemptively walling here. And same on Felixaldi's side, walling off and securing his home base well outside of the, let's call them valleys here. But looks like Adam is going up at the 23 pop here. That's some fishing tip for him as well. That should mean 20 villagers up. So that looks like a scout's build to me, and there are still an opening at least here for him to get through. So I think the scouts will get in time. Felixaldi also going for the fish boom here. Nice pond in the back of his base, by the way. This is tough to contest, at least, especially in the early game for Adham. Bit of a scout fight in the middle here, but Felixaldi got the upper hand here. But uptip's not too dissimilar here. That means that once Felixaldi gets a barracks up, he should be able to produce spears and fend off any scout rush. Looks like Adham is going to dock the second pond here as well, so he's going greedy on the fish here, but why not his Persians? His docks work faster. That's just a good way to feudal boom and get your food eco really rolling like crazy. Reaches feudal age here with yeah, 350 food in a bank even after. Actually, I don't see any barracks or stables here, so actually it's not a scout's play after all. It's surprising, unless he wants to drop it forward. He's going to contest this pond instead, which is also close to Felixaldi's side, so he's been expecting some water play from or fish boom from his enemy here. Also pretty heavy on gold here for Adham. Deletes a palisade to drop an outpost for any visual of any armies going forward. Felixaldi with the villager lead though, so he should mean more fishing ships total, but they will be contested here. And Adham dropping a fire ship in this dock. That could have been a misclick actually, but he's adding fire galleys here, just maybe a preemptive means to defend his side here. So committing to feudal age play for a while here. Felixaldi also staying, committing heavily into the walls here. Sets out a galley here, so once any ships come out from this side, he will be able to address them, and maybe with a galley he could hit and run and stay out of fire galleys fire here, at least early on. But look at Adham dropping another dock in the back here. Felixaldi surely sees this one. Needs to commit to army here as well, so green galleys here as well. So this will be a fight for the pawns. None of the players want their opponent to exploit the food eco boost that pawns can give you here. Pretty sure Adham will win this one, but Felixaldi could be committing more down here, and it's already green galleys, double galleys here, whereas Adham is on the fire galleys. So let's see how. I mean, once the fire galleys get close and you don't really have any huge means of escape here, that means you will lose a lot of HP once they get close. So I'm not sure if I agree on staying this close to the enemy dock with a ranged ship like this, but dropping a second dock down here, Felixaldi, that's almost seems like an overcommitment. Of course, he wants to win the pond back to get the fish boom going, but there's only 2 deep fish here, so it's going to be a good while till he can really exploit the control over this pond. But that could also be a reaction to losing this one and not having control over this one at all. Oh, I built a galley to deny the knock, of course. Thank you, Fly Like Django. That makes sense, of course. So I like the position of the repair build here, because that's should be out of reach of the fire galleys with only 2 range. So that means with the repairs going on, he could be able to get the numbers up to take this pond, but also find it impressive that Felixaldi keeps the villager lead here. That's fishing ships, of course, but he keeps them alive here, not allowing Adham to take this pond just yet. So massive military presence is 9 military total for Adham, but that's split out across 3 ponds, only 2 ponds for Felixaldi here. And now with 3 fire galleys in queue, should be seeing the cast stage click for Felixaldi soon, and Adham further behind. So no military presence on land for either player yet. Let's see, yeah, Felixaldi is completely walled on his left hand side. It's a nice walling here to keep this hill within his control. But now looks like he might lose this pawn here, because that's 3 fire galleys against 2 galleys and a fire galley here. So I think Felixaldi may need to abandon this pawn, although he's still producing military. He will be up to Castle Age first as well, so if he is patient with his army on water here and stacks up on a few ships and gets war galley in, he would be able to reclaim it. But then again, that would also mean that he would be investing a lot into a pawn, not really giving too much back here. Now switching into farms, looks like both players have added farms here. Adam maybe with more on food overall now, 15 on food, 6 on gold, so just cavalry play then for him, but that's the most likely from Persians here. It looks to me like Adam is winning 2 pawns here now, and controlling the third one, for example, so that's going to be very significant for his food eco in the long run. It's also 60% Castle Age with a strong eco to back it. Can easily drop another TC once he reaches Castle Age, and also committing a little bit to stone now, so he could be looking to castle drop or take this hill before Felixaldi can with this kind of map control. But I think Felixaldi still has, yeah, his food eco is running low, he's lost a lot of fishing ships of course, but looks like he will be reclaiming this one. He's also taking war galley here, something that Adam isn't doing for now. So nice job of Felixaldi to reclaim this pond here with still a bit more deep fish to take, and also denying the opportunity of any sneaky landing to get into his side here, with that this palisade should also make that slightly more difficult. So ships count total is fewer for Adam overall now, and fire ships really doing work for Felixaldi here. He is reclaiming his southern pond as well, but not really much fish to gain from it here now, but of course you could add fish traps and exploit it nevertheless. And here's it's a little bit of a forward base from Adam on this side, so he's dropping monastery and stable now, as a barracks as well, and will we be seeing maybe some forward siege added as well to just to break through. So the reward of being the offender here and going being on the offensive here and taking these pawns is forcing your opponent to react and defend the whole time, rendering your base at home completely untouched to any forward aggression. Dropping the second TC from Adam here, and let's get back to the stats here. Builder count still arguably pretty similar here, but I think Felixaldi's food eco will still be falling behind. Yeah, so third TC added for the Persians player here. There are 2 TCs going up to Felixaldi as well, so they should be keeping up with each other in the villager counts here, but Adam now controlling only 1 pawn for himself, and it's also run out of deep fish, so looking brighter for Felixaldi right now. Slightly more villagers back with, yeah, they're roughly similar food ecos here, but then there's the forward of Adam on land here to deal with now 5 knights with +2 and a monk behind to heal or help defend. Looks for an entry point here, but there are fire ships at sea here to stop that from happening. Felixaldi extending his villager lead now. He's adding fish and adding villagers out of all 3 DCs. He's will be rewarded for that on his food eco in the long run. He's spending a lot as well, adding Monks of his own, reaction to the knights coming forward of course, and really doesn't want to get housed in the fast speed here, so he's just committing a lot of wood to houses here as well, but why not, right? Adam now going for the relics. That's a good play there. Let's see if they have got any. Yeah, that's the second relic being brought in right now. As it stands with Felixaldi having walled all the sections here, that limits its expansion kind of here, although he now controls 2 ponds. It's the map control is very much on Adam's side for the moment. Now bringing the knights over to the far side, where the monks are likely still on this side, right? So brings the knights over to the other side to try and break in without any monks hitting them from the other side, and also Adam trying to use the monks here to convert a few galleys of water. Nice play there. So he breaks through this set, can get some decent raids in now, though it's only 5 knights and they're all weakened, but if he can find any vulnerable areas here among the 4 TCs of Felixaldi, for example the gold up here, he could potentially get some kills. But nice reaction from Felixaldi there, the nice run through other TC, could be taking out one knight now, or at least weakening it significantly. Goes straight for the wood line actually. There's a monk here as well. We'll probably get a conversion now, since there's no immediate reaction to run from Felixaldi, no, from Adam here. So with all the relics on this map, there are usually 9, 10, 11 relics spawning on this map, even for 1v1s, so that's very significant. Overall, Felixaldi has secured one relic as well, but it should be 3 for Adam now, and is bringing in more as well, so that's going to boost this gold eco for the potential late game a lot. Both players extending their bases on land, Adam adding monsters to pick up the relics on this side as well. So we should have a look at this gold. Its situation is already like twice the gold of his opponent. I would be very surprised not to see Adam reaching the Imperial Age first here with the current setup. But meanwhile, a defensive castle is going up for Felixaldi. The wants to protect his gold and deny any entry of enemy military up from the hill here. Where's this guy going? Does he want to bring the relics closer to home or what? Huh. Now forward castle being placed by... You think his castles were downhill? This is... Whoa, right next to each other. Yeah, it could be. I mean, looks like they should be on the line here. Now I don't have that grid mod, so I couldn't tell, but could be that they somehow register as downhill here, that's true. And look at the Imperial Ages. It is Adam reaching the Imperial Age first, which is only like 4% difference, so it means that eco setups of both players are pretty similar here, but then again, Adam's still floating a bit more gold. He has 4 relics against 1, and bringing in even more on his western side here, so should benefit him very much in the long run. Adding more forward stables, forward-ish ranges as well, so could supply his cavalry here with crossbows with command around, means they will only cost wood, popularly called trash bows. And lots of upgrades coming in. This is the crossbow, or rather trashbow switch here, in addition to cavalry being added. 17 military for Felixaldi now, but that's mainly water presence, right? I don't think he has added any Well, the monks as well, obviously, but no infantry just yet. So both players have been adding fish traps, but still a very strong fish eco for Felixaldi here. He is with 55 on food, and that's of course farms and land as well, but maybe around 10, 15 fish working for him. So Imperial Age kicks in. Actually, Persians researching the next stage, or TC is working faster in general. They reach the next stage more quickly as well. Third castle. This is a castle wall from Felixaldi here. Really wants to neglect any passage into his main base here, which is understandable because he has natural barriers here in the woodland here. So that's going to be easier to wall off than this section up on the hill here, but let's see the development here. 2 castles against 3 they are. Well, this one is within reach of 2 of these castles actually. But the traps are coming out. Japanese traps could potentially be good here with the unique tech. They just pack and unpack just like that, and now pikemen being added. Of course, Felixaldi is expecting the more cavalry to come here. He's seen the stables as well. Well, you see Adam taking the map control here with houses and mining the neutral resources, and also taking the silver. There are also significant neutral resources to pick up. So Adam, from the looks of it, the traps are dealing normal damage here. There's looks like 400-ish per hit, right? Isn't that quite normal? Or should it be only 200? Anyways, 2, 3 traps against 3, 4 traps now actually. Halberdier is in for Felixaldi, but Adam's home base completely untouched. Felixaldi is almost as well, but there were some knights breaking in here, causing a little bit of a headache for a while. Massive boom for Felixaldi though is with more than 20 villagers lead here. Will also take down 1 castle of his opponent. And even adding some cap ranks to the mix here, sending forward the trashy halves here to distract the trash bows, but crossbows will do decently, very decently against half here, also covered by casting fire, but both forward castles down for Adam here, but at the same time he has army presence now. Cavalier on land will easily deal these cap rams here. Cross trash bows to back any halberdiers here to that try and snipe the cavaliers here. And even paladin being teched for Adam here. That says something about this map. So much relic gold, so much neutral gold piles. You could just don't really need to worry too much about gold here. And now a couple of the forward traps of the, or defensive traps of Felixaldi go down here, while trash bows are following. These can just be wasted because you, with unique tech of Persians, they only cost wood, so they are basically a very neat trash unit to use. Obviously has ballistics here as well, because all of the arrows seem to hit, and another castle will be going down here for Felixaldi at least very soon. There we go. So Felixaldi is about to be breached, and meanwhile more land presence is being added by Adam here. Cavaliers coming in from both ends here. Could pick off the ship there actually when it's so close to shore. But population's pretty similar between players. Again, they have of course extended to more TCs and now to the neutral resources, at least Adam has. But Felix is making use of what he has at home. He's about to lose another castle here. With paladins and trash bows and traps at the ready to move in. This is beginning to look grim for Felixaldi's main base here. Well, we still have access to stone. He could be struggling for gold soon because he will be losing access here. And look at all the neutral gold piles. There's red dots right next to them, so It's not going to be an easy task for Felixaldi to get to any of the neutral goals. What is scouting intel like is actually missing. He actually doesn't even know the location of Adham's main base. That's pretty huge at this stage in the game. So 51 to 47 military here, but that's quite a bit of halberdiers here. Some knights in the mix for Felixaldi could be a means against crossbowmen, possibly. But Paladin's doing a great job here. Another forward castle being dropped by Adham as well, and I think it's just a matter of time before this forward will force Felixaldi to call the GG here. 3 trebs at the ready, crossbows, castle as cover fire. Slow but steady push here, losing of course some paladins in the mix here, but not really struggling for gold either. 24 gold minus 45 on food. That's more than enough to sustain production to stay pop capped here. Felixaldi close to pop capped as well, and bringing in the halves, which obviously deal nicely with the paladins here. But with the trash balls behind his own walls here as well, they are not really allowed to get to the paladins or traps. Paladins are in and not ready to raid the eco here. Impressive army control of Adham here as well, taking advantage of the hill, of course, with lots of transports here, just sniping any halberdiers that come. They get to shoot up a couple of paladins here, but this kind of push, how do you push it back with the wood need? I mean, you can't really go mass skirm either, even though it could have been an option with Japanese, because there are paladins on the field and they would wreck the skirms. So, and then there's siege on the gear, maybe that's not an option either, because the paladins would wreck the siege. Halves and siege maybe could work out, but then there's the issue of having eco to support it as well, and Felixaldi is desperate for gold, and being run out of gold here now, what does he do from here? He can't go to any spot on the map. It's full control by Adham here, and without any gold he's forced to use the market, and the prices are probably... Actually, I don't get to see the market prices because Felixaldi doesn't have a market either. But massive production of helps here, that's doing some helping out somewhat. Of course, when they get close enough, they can damage the crossbowman here. But that's not going to stop the steady flow of army from Adham here with still lots of gold and food income to sustain the production here. Now left with only a few villagers to build here, but I think the castle goes up. There we go. Trebs still on the field for Felixaldi, but not with a unique tech. If we had the Asama Trebs here with Japanese, they would just unpack on the spot, just play over like that. But looks like it took them a little while. And look at this production from Adham here. It's he's 3000 score ahead. That could be the KD speaking as well. He's nearly double the kills, and constant flow of trash balls and paladins here is staying to the close to the top limit, and as he moves forward, he's just going to push his opponent completely out. You can look at even the elite war elephants being added here now. It's just a power display from Adham here to just sending the message of you can resign. Elite war elephants are just so tanky that even halves will struggle against them. You need lots of massive halves to deal with elite war elephants. It's almost like, as good as siege in this sense to take out buildings production here, and Felixaldi now down to 100 cherry pop. He still has his spawns, his fish boom, but he is probably still out of gold, right? So His only option is trash. So it's not often you see, too often you see elite war elephants go for raids in 1v1s, but here we have paladins, we have elite war elephants, and we have trash foes to back them if any hubs or monks come on field, and see absolute map domination by Adham here. Relics were helpful, yeah. Let's have a look at the relic count. 9 relics! Yeah, for sure that's going to make a huge difference in the gold income of Adham. Let's looking forward to see the relic gold in the stats here. GG brings it to 1-0 for Adham here. Massive scoring in the end, of course a huge military lead, and KD almost doubled that of his opponent here. Gold collected almost 10,000 more. That's ridiculous, but that's the neutral gold piles, and of course relic gold, which we'll see in a moment here. On the society scores 5,000, 5,500 red gold. Very strong display from Adham here in the first game. I hope we got timestamps right. Is it correct that the next game is on Arena? Just gonna do the edit com here. So moving on to the next game here, it's 1-0 for Adham, which means it's Felixaldi's home map coming up, and for this one it's Necro Arena. That's just a regular arena with yeah, stone walls for each player, but then with some nicely Necropolis touch added to the details here, with some ruins and some skeletons here and there. So we have, oops. We have Cumans for Felixaldi here versus Adham playing as the Vietnamese. So interesting matchup here, and Cumans could of course go for the Fuel H boom and try and hold and get their booming head start with their second Fuel H TC, not too uncommon. But that leaves them very vulnerable to a fast castle from the opposing player, so it's not necessarily what we will see. I've also seen battering rams, which you can build with Cumans in Fuel H. Could use them to break through the stone walls and do a tower rush, accompanied by battering rams. Anyway, let's fast forward and see if they go for the fast castle or the Fuel H boom for the Cumans play here. So Vietnamese, of course, very strong archer civ, and also an archer civ that have archers that counter archers. They have a awesome unique unit in the rat and archers from the castle, but archers play is not what you commonly see from Cumans, so this could still be pretty interesting to see how it plays out in this matchup. Cumans definitely a cavalry civ and arguably a siege civ as well. But Felixaldi is indeed going for the early field village. He is going to 20 pop up and will probably be dropping his second town center any moment now. Let's see, I'm gonna switch to Felixaldi's point of view here. Brings in quite a few villagers. It's going to be by the stone and wood here, maybe. There we go. So it's nice to see all the main gold and woodline here. And of course, being up this early, it's exactly what his opponent will expect, that this is exactly what's happening. So his response to that will be going likely a straight fast castle and apply some early cast stage pressure, I would assume. The fact that Felixaldi commits to field age with humans as well means that his opponent can get to the castle age a lot earlier and more easily just pick up all of the relics here. So that's one of the dangers of going up early to the next stage with humans. Yes, you get the villager boost, you get income farming, more gold, everything. Is there a way to run the game to 2.0 speed in every play? I don't think so. I mean, this it plays back on normal speed for some reason. When you live spectate, it shows in fast speed, but on the replays for some reason it doesn't. But let's look at the settings actually, if there's any playback options or something. I don't think so. No, probably just a glitch in the spectating feature that you can't really play it on fast speed. Anyway, you see cast age coming in for Adam here. He's almost at 50%. Felixaldi, meanwhile, is getting his villager head start. He's consistently producing out of 2 TCs here. So his numbers is just going to grow and grow. And look at the building's foundations here as well. He wants to protect his eco from any potential castle drop or any other kinds of rush here. So he's preemptively using houses to wall because humans also can't stone wall. So he's getting ready for any kind of offensive its opponent might throw at him here. Adam, meanwhile, is dropping his 2 TCs in the cast stage. Will be catching up on the villager count temporarily once Felixaldi opts for the next age here, because then there will be 3 TCs against 1 effective production TC. So the blacksmith market is coming for Felixaldi here. Should suggest that he is also preparing the castle age take. It's not quite there yet, but he will be getting closer. Meanwhile, some idols on Adam's side dropping actually the 4th TC, so he really wants to catch up with that human booming head start here. Has to be the play. So it doesn't feel threatened by an opponent still in the field age, right? So he knows the relics will be out of won't be an issue just yet. There simply won't be any monastery for the humans, and with 4 TCs he will also be able to in time produce from all 4 TCs and then catch up with the villager difference, which is now at 18 villagers. So Felixaldi closing in on the cast stage click now. He has the buildings he needs. He will be clicking it very soon. I think he even used the market for a little bit of adjustment here. He'll probably sell a little bit more offered or just wait for the gold and then cue the castle age. I mean, we're only at 18-30 minutes, so it's still going to be a decent castle age time for Felixaldi, and he has 52 builders at the moment. Now dropping quite a few houses, and I'm not sure what his play is going to be, but maybe, yeah, definitely going for the mounted units approach here, or maybe even kind of a pike and siege push here, or not pike, but some siege push. Meanwhile, is in Adam catching up on the villager count. Is producing out of 3 of his 4 TCs now, so it's definitely going to match the numbers sooner rather than later. Felixaldi queuing a couple of scouts, wants to try and get that map control. I'm surprised not to see Adam exploiting the fact that his opponent is reaching the cast stage at 21 minutes by trying to snag the relics earlier on, because there hasn't really been any presence on the map from Felixaldi. So getting all the 5 relics would have been a no-brainer Adam, but he's going for the boom and wants to have a stronger economy than his opponent in the long run, even with the head start that humans get with their 2 fuel HTCs. Siege Workshop being dropped at home by Felixaldi, and also a monastery. That should mean capped rams from the humans player, which you can take in Castle H being humans. Scouts out on the field guarding some of the relics as well, so Felixaldi must be happy to see that Adam hasn't in fact picked any of the relics. So Bloodlines coming in and monks in the tech. Now a forward villager going out for Felixaldi as well. What's the idea here? Are you going to drop some more forward building siege something here? Yep, there's definitely 4 siege workshops for Felixaldi here, but he's now going to be up against if it's offense is early enough, he could really punish the greedy boom of Adam here. He hasn't got any military buildings whatsoever, but then again he has a strong eco working for him, and Felixaldi with the fast imp here. Interesting. So Cap Ram being text, that could almost immediately be a siege ram here, maybe a bit too few farms to support that 1000 food upgrade, but Cap Rams are good as gold anyway, and his opponent still a little bit far behind here, dropping the University of Monastery, will be at least 50-ish% behind. So now it's on Adam to hold to get his pretty heavily on stone now, so he should be able to place a castle by the time any siege starts moving forward. So Adam has seen C4 siege workshop, he's scouted a little bit out on the field, so he knows what's coming. Could also explain the commitment to stone here, and Castle would put an immediate stopper to any forward siege coming through here. Surely we will be seeing the Imperial Age click for Adam soon. Yeah, there's the Imperial Age click, but his opponent is already in Imp. And Felix is has not been mining stone at all, so I was going to question whether he would go for the forward castle here and start the Terps war, but he's committing to the capped rams now. He even found an opening near the house here. Once this house goes down, it will go down easily to ram fire here. The knights will be ready to run in and raid. So villagers coming to creek wall behind here. That's only going to be a limited measure. Now knights are free to run in here next to the trees here. But nice awareness of Adam as well to have the pikes at ready here, and will easily deal with the knights before they can become cavalier here. So not the best engagement for Felixaldi here, running into all these pikes with both his siege and knights here, and this should leave Adam with the time window to plug the gap here as well with the 45 wall. Adam just defending, delaying, and buying himself time now to get his Imperial Age to kick in and to start inevitable counter-offensive. But Cavalier is on the field, but there's a castle here. I believe Felixaldi will benefit a lot from Trebs here, but he still hasn't been mining stone at all, going to stone now. And there are lots of pikes chasing here, something that Felixaldi at this point doesn't really have any answer to, except this monk who might get a conversion here. the Imperial Age for Adam as well. He's at roughly 15 more villagers here. He's taking help immediately, understandably enough. He's up against Cavalier here. Felixaldi floating a decent economy here, is getting lots of upgrades of production as well, adding Scorps as a defensive measure. Why did he go for a cast age push and then went to Imp? Good question indeed. Could be that he felt like he had enough army presence on the field to get an attack in on his opponent, and then, well, I have the resources for Imp, let's just do it. But without any castle or any stone to drop a castle to get the trebs out, then what do you really gain for the Imp? You get Cavalier and you get Siege Ram potentially, but the eco wasn't really... Still only on 92 villagers here, so... And I think it's still only 2 TCs as well, which is surprising to me when he's up against an opponent going for 4 TCs early cast age. So Trebs now out on the field for Adam here. Felixaldi still no castle as far as I can see, so he won't be able to challenge the Trebs war anytime soon. He has, of course, cavalry to snipe the Trebs, but with all the helps on the field here, it's still going to be real tough. So a steady flow of halberdiers from Adam here. Adam also getting, is that husbandry? Yes, he's adding stables as well. Actually, impressive of Felixaldi with his late cast age predicaments to really still be able to catch 4 of the relics. That's certainly helpful for the skull income. But he's losing lots of military to... yeah. Trading helps for Cavalier, fantastic trades for Adam distance. He's also floating more of virtually every resource here, going for the neutral resources now. Could even drop a castle here already just to secure these 2 neutral resource spots here. Looking at the military count as well, it looks not too bright for Felixaldi at the moment. He is only at 7 military against 38 of his opponent. Granted, that is mainly halberdiers for him, so looks like Felixaldi has some kind of a plan here. He's going for the skirms against the halberdiers, I suppose. But with still being 13 villagers behind and having been behind the villagers for almost 15 minutes now, that's not too great for Felixaldi's eco and the late game here. We see Adam slowly taking the map control here, dropping a castle on this side, taking the neutrals here. Is assuming, like in the last game, he's assuming lots of resource control on the map here, just making use of these neutral resources everywhere at the same time as supplying army to his forces. Now with a monk and a couple of trebs ready to break down. No more stone walls for the humans once these go down, because humans don't have access to stone walls. Will be losing their relics here shortly as well. And just now Felixaldi is dropping his first castle here. He has extended with a 30C to the back of his base though, so he's preparing for the inevitable breach here. Maybe he will be able to buy himself enough time to reinforce his boom and really get his massive production going, but it doesn't look too great at the moment with resorting to skirms. Ballistics for getting all the upgrades here for skirms, but that's mainly his main unit at the moment. Meanwhile, he's allowing Adam to assume all of the neutral resources on the map. Another forward-ish castle being dropped as well. That could mean more traps or just a means to secure even more of the neutral resources here. 75 to 25 military here. How does Felixaldi fight this with his current eco setup? It's lots of military for Adam, but at the same time it's still floating lots of food and gold, and he is pop capped, and yet dropping another castle forward here. Sees the castle, of course, will task the trebs towards that one right away, and is certainly well protected here by Lightcap and halberdiers. Felixaldi with the stone to repair, but not any means at all to drop some more offensive castles. And has some elite skirmishers now, but that's not going to help against Trebs and Lightcap. So nice awareness again from Adham to have Lightcap on the field ready to snipe any elite skirms against his Halberdiers, because skirms being probably the best options for humans against Halberdiers here. And then with having Lightcap on the field, there's no way to deal with that easily for Felixaldi now. He has Hussars and has a couple of Cavaliers still, but then with the Halbs on the field for Adham here, you just don't really have an option to fight it back, and this choke point here is of course helping out a little bit for Felixaldi here. Wow, that was some serious lag even in the replay here, lots of things going on. Middle ground's pretty similar here now. Looks like Adham is intent on staying in this choke point here, just to make sure the Trebs can't be sniped as well by Felix's mounted units here. So I guess Felixaldi could have looped around a couple of Cavaliers here and maybe get the Trebs sniped too, but there are 4 Trebs on fields and now Rattan archers as well. Look at the damage they are dealing even to Cavaliers here, it's pretty crazy. Not any massive amounts of Rattan archers here, but enough to help out in sniping Cavaliers here, and they should do, once he gets the critical mass, they should be able to contest skirms to some extent as well. But why use Rattan archers against skirms when you have the Lightcap? And another forward castle being dropped by Adham here. I'm sure he has lots of spare gold in the bank now. Not too heavily on wood, surprisingly enough, so probably won't be seeing any other kinds of siege added here, although Onager would be great against this mass of skirmishers here. So it's the 3 TCs for Felixaldi now with 6 or so ranges producing as well, but being pushed further back here by the Trebs, has succeeded in actually picking off a couple of Trebs here, so that's good news for Felixaldi. And the KD is also in his favor, it's 130 to 101 here. But yeah, and Siege Ram coming out now, that could soak some fire from the Rattans, of course, but then again there's still Halbs and Lightcap on the field for Adham, so I don't think Adham will let this one go. He'll just keep pushing with whatever he has, and probably knows as well that he is in a superior eco spot here, having full control of all the neutral resources again. There's still milestone and gold to mine for him, so he's not going to run out easily here. Look at this queue from both players here. Treadmill Crane coming for Adham here, wants to construct buildings even faster, so it's going to be a third forward castle here on the third gold of the Felixaldi here, so that means less gold access for Felixaldi. In fact, he can't... Well, he has this gold in the back here, but that's about to run out. That's like 600 gold here. That is going to run dry. And then what does Felixaldi do? Because he is adding siege rams now. Questionable decision with Lightcap on the field actually, because they will die before they can get anywhere. Look at the ecos here, but again, so much gold in the bank for Adham now. He could still spam gold units like Rattan archers forever. He's switched to quite a bit more on wood, and with at least 5 castles now to produce from. 6 castles total. He shouldn't be in any trouble with supplying resources. Rattan archers even doing decent against the siege rams here. Of course they need quite a few volleys, but they are able to take them out in 4 or 5 shots. Looks like the Lightcap have a pretty long way to go from the stables here though, so... Could be considering to add some stables closer to the forward here to make sure they don't have to run all the way across the map to get to the skirms here. But with this mass of Rattan archers, it's not really much left. Even skirms won't be able to kill them off as easily. Look at their armor here. It's very significant. They're more tanky than skirmishers in the Pierce department, so not easily dealt with skirmishers at least. Where's the onagers indeed? If we're thinking about Felixaldi, I think his gold simply can't support it. But from Adam, I don't know why. He's committing all of his wood to Rattan archers, and he has a real significant mass here now. So, probably doesn't need them. Elephantos? Not yet. But he could support anything by now. Elephantos would be the GG. Yeah, that's true. No answer for Felixaldi to that, but then again, Felixaldi is out of gold. He can't mine gold anymore. This is his last remaining gold belonging to his home base. So, just like last game, he's starved from gold. And he will have to resort to market abuse now, and the prices are less than stellar here. He's been selling wood, it appears, because there's 14 wood, 14 gold per 100 wood here. Still decent return from food here, but not enough to sustain army production in the long run, as you are being reached even further by the opponent now. Forward monastery, but the GG is called as Felixaldi loses his home base, and we will be moving on to the next game. Again, a very patient display from Adam here. His boom was not contested. I would have thought that the Cubans player would go for some kind of push, or at least one of them would, maybe more the Vietnamese player would go for an early push against the Cubans, opting for the feudal boom, because you know they will be committed to feudal. So if you could bring some army on the field early on, you could force a GG a lot earlier, but instead Adam went for the more or less instant 4 TC boom, which means he can easily work against the Cubans committing to feudal age with 2 TCs and getting a head start, but will fall behind once they need to research the castle age. So 253.15. Look at the uptimes here, pretty early imp for Felixaldi, but that didn't really pay off for him. Didn't have any stone for a castle, so wasn't able to supply any traps. Did breach in through the walls with cap trams, but Adam was ready for it already with pikes standing by to take out knights and a defensive castle to delay or put a stopper to the forward siege. 6 castles total for Adam, pretty crazy. And really gold for Felixaldi. So he did have sort of a gold income in the end, but just not enough to support gold units production in the long run. Pretty peculiar timeline here. No army until castle age, then a bit of a spike here in Imperial, then losing a lot of them during the push, and then keeping up, but falling behind in the end. Alright, so next game will be on Baltic. Let's see. We'll have Mongols versus Italians on Baltic. So Baltic is up. We saw it in the previous set as well. Then it was Hunts versus Malay and Hunts, so a bit surprisingly winning actually. But here we have Adam picking Mongols for this one. If you want to see the draft, you could write !draft and you will see the Sims that drafted. And then you'll also see that Adam didn't really opt for any, not too many of the particular typical hybrid map Sims. So, but Mongols, of course, decent here. They're great on land, but also with their hunting bonus. That would help them a lot in getting an early age up, but it should still be hard to contest the Italians on being first to the feudal age, considering that Italians have a discount on going up through the ages. Anyway, probably not so much action to see just yet. Resources seem decent here. All gold's a bit forward, but this should be secured on land, at least be secured by a wall off here. Should be easily enough. Wall here, and then you have this side, all of your resources secured. No neutral resources on any sides here. It's only a little 3-tile gold here, a little 3-tile gold here, a bit of stones. So it's all on the sides. Seems evenly disposed between the two players here. Adam a little bit more lucky with this generation here. The gold far in the back here, then the side gold's a bit more worrisome, but shouldn't be too much of an issue. Could always wall off on the sides here as well and restrict access to your bases. Baltic will be fighting for water, of course. There's so much deep fish to take here, all around the pond here. So whoever controls the water controls the potential for fish income in the throughout the game. We see both players heading off for the feudal age now with their docks, one dock each at least. Docks pretty far away from each other actually. So let's see who that will benefit. Looks like their bases are also pretty safe from any water aggression. After all, it is Adam going first up to the next HO, and he has they are at the same village count, losing his initial scout here though. So, but Adam of course knowing the location of his opponent, that's useful. Felixaldi does not know for now, but must be suspecting for sure that it's on the opposite side here. So it's 2 docks for Felixaldi with Italians, it's 2 docks for Adam as well, and they're both queuing fire galleys here, so we'll be seeing some fighting on water shortly. Thanks for the follow, XX Croc XX. Nice of you to stop by. So we see the 3rd dock going up for the Mongol player, and the mirror on the other side for Felixaldi actually going to finish the 3rd dock first. So assuming, well now he gets housed, so that puts a small stopper to the production, but assuming he can produce from all 3 docks, that's going to put him in the leading spot on the water fighting here. Italians, fantastic water save, considering their fishing ships are cheaper, docks technologies cost less, or research faster. It's a best of 7 actually, so yeah, I should have put that in the title. But this is the semi-final of the Necropolis Grail Cup. This is a 2nd semi-final actually. Yeah, it looks bad for Felix at the moment. This is the 3rd game, so it's his 2nd home map already. So it's 4 ships against 4 here, but then with the demolition raft lurking around here, if you could sneak that in here, that could be huge, a huge hit for Adam here. He hits both 5 ships, fantastic demo hit there. So a nice engagement on water for him already. The military count is falling behind for Felixaldi, unfortunately. They are both on 3, but no, it's actually 4 docks for Adam now, for the Mongols player. Their village count's pretty similar here, but Adam maybe, yeah, he's housed for a moment. That puts a stopper to his replenishment, but he has the winter need on water, so he's now with 7 to 2 ships, so he's dominating at this point, I have to say. But it's, nothing is to stop Felixaldi from coming into combat. Some patient playing it, dropping the 4th dock now, brings in the fire ships to defend his building villager here, but there are quite a few ships out to attack for Adam here as well. If you can get a demo hit and then aim with the fire ships, he'll be in trouble here. But I think the dock will go up, so even if he needs to use the fire galleys as a distraction here, the dock will go up and Felixaldi will have the means to replenish his numbers on water, but he's falling heavily behind. It's 8 ships to 2 right now. And let's see the equals of the 2 players. Less food in the production for Adam, but fewer food collectors overall for Felixaldi. He's lost all his fish, it seems, so he will need to transition to farms pretty soon, I believe. Which is a bummer for the Italians that have such great fish, but to reboom on water for Italians is always an option as well, of course, if you can somehow get the water control back. Could be that Felixaldi wants to go for some land aggression. Whoa, Adam is 1920 now. Wow, this is the the bracket capped at 1800. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, if how are you? I mean, it's signups were probably like 2 months ago by now, and if people aim to improve, they could increase, you know. So. Either that or he has not been honest about his rating, but I mean, it's nothing can stop people from improving, right? You would probably see a lot of the other players in the brackets as well that, for example, in the 1400 brackets that are well above 1400 now. It's just, you can't really stop that kind of progress. Unless you keep the whole tournament within 1 week, right? But that's obviously impossible with the long sets we have, like in his finals with the best of 7. So Felixaldi going for some land aggression now, dropping a forward barracks. Will maybe be dropping an archery range as well then. So he realizes he will lose water here, or tries to claim it back now. Actually, quite a few ships here. Quick look at the ships count again here. Oh, come on. Yeah, pretty even numbers now, but still some nice demo hits for this time for Felixaldi actually. And now 6 to 5 ships on sea. Then water fighting seems to be at somewhat of a stalemate here. No wall off for Adam here except for house walling foundations near his base, so some land aggression could pay off for Felixaldi big time here. He's taking great engagements on water as well, so looking good so far now for Felixaldi. And we see archers in queue as well. The issue this could pose, though, is that Adam is floating a significant food eco now from having kept his fish alive. He's quite a few fishing ships, and he has a few farms on land as well. He will very, very likely reach Castle Age before his opponent. And that power spike could allow him to get back on water, and it should also give him an easier time handling archers on land. So 6 fire galleys against 4 or 5. Yeah, looks like Felixaldi still has the numbers on water. He's been able to reclaim a little bit of water control here. If he can take out the fishing ship of Adam here, it's going to make the transition to Castle Age a little bit more awkward for Adam. He will still be able to click up if he chooses to do so. Oh no! Missed 4 weak wheels, sniped the berries. Was on this side? Yeah, probably, I guess. So I missed some land version there. Yeah, he's Paris, right. So with recount falling behind for Felixaldi then, since Adam had a nice engagement on land, sniping weak villagers on the berries. Docks also weak for Felixaldi here, so once Adam gets to the next age, he should be able to do some serious damage on water again. None of them had some too much ship's presence right now, but of course producing. But then again, it's Castle Age kicking in for Adam, and Felixaldi not even close to the click up here, so he will be at a serious tech disadvantage for a while. He has some archers forward though, with fletching, and is aiming for the woodline here. Wonder if you'll see this one. Just passing, apparently. It runs towards the TC now. This could be disastrous for Felixaldi's forward archers. They're losing to TC fire. Clearly not paying attention to the forward army right now, but at least causing some idle time while Adam is on the way up here. And but still with the great eco going into Castle here for Adam still. Some panic quick balling here to keep the archer's aggression out in towards the CC. Nice awareness there to make sure the archers won't really be able to run in here. Is Felixaldi either not paying attention or just desperately trying to get to the gold here to delay some gold income for Adam. Adam going, of course, straight for the war galley upgrade and reaching the next stage, dropping another dock as well, even though we at 5 docks against 4 here. And goes to snipe the fish. It surprises me a little bit that he wouldn't wait for a bit longer here to wait for war galley to actually kick in, because then he would have just so much of a better fight here. But of course he's sustaining production from a couple of the docks as well, and sees some weak ship and a bit of a micro here to find the weak ones. Nice demo hit there for Felixaldi though, and he's a couple of more demo arrives on the field. Fire ships at work here. Meanwhile, Knights on the field on land for Adam here. He has, well, it looked like a yellow dot, but that was only the gold. Now we'll for sure see the... No, he doesn't he doesn't see the forward base of Felixaldi, but he must suspect something is there, obviously. And Felixaldi calls the GG. So lost numbers on water, but this would probably mainly be the actual age difference here. Felixaldi not in a position to get to the next stage, has to commit to massive fuel army on water and on land, and the knights going forward here just, yeah, would, with a few more knights being added, would have been disastrous for Felixaldi with only 1 barracks at land. Yeah, Felixaldi's games were separate. I'm not sure if I've seen those, but his games versus Kong in the quarterfinals were great as well. They were pretty even. That set went to, I don't know, I think it went to 4-3 in the end, or if it was no, it was quarterfinals, best of 5, maybe that it was 3-2. Still a great set. Stats again, massive military lead and slight economy lead at the ending of the game here. Units, KD 52 to 35, so that's some significant kills on water there in the end. Otherwise, resources collected not too dissimilar. Felixaldi losing the fish early on, obviously with less food collected, and something that also makes the Castle Age transition earlier for Adam here. So going to the next game then, it's on Tudeberg. So it's Tudeberg, guys, the infamous map where you start with no scout. It's also played on fast speed. Oh. Okay, looks like Adam hasn't played Tudeberg so far in this tournament. It's the fact about this map: you start without scout, but your sheep should spawn close to your TC so that you have the means of scouting with sheep. And you see Adam also using the villagers to scout a bit here. So having three or four sheep scouting early on should help you to find the boars, hopefully. This one should be possible for Felixaldi to find somewhat simply. Where's the other one? Yeah, probably hiding in the woods somewhere, but at least one board somewhat. Yeah, both are pretty close there. Now on Adam's side as well, he's scouting extensively with his sheep and a villager as well. Could be worth the effort. You know, if you find the sheep with the villager, you will also convert them instantly instead of sending sheep around and then having to run out with a villager to capture them later. So sees at least one of the boards here, and the second one is here. So looks like decent early scouting for both players here, finding the core resources in due time. And we have Britons here against Slavs. So Slavs, strong eco with their faster working farms, right? Could benefit them throughout the whole game on a map like this, actually, where you sometimes would struggle to find food. Scouts could also be a strong opening on this map if you have the eco to go for it if you find the resources in time, because with the limited intel of scouting you could get here, it is more likely that your opponent isn't completely walled by the time your scouts can get there in feudal age. But the most common thing we've seen still on a map starting without a scout like this has been the fast castle style play, or more extensive feudal age fighting, not necessarily the scouts. So one villager lead for Felixaldi here. Could be that he's spent less time with his villager scouting or just been a bit more lucky with his food. I mean, with the Britons faster sheep gathering food from sheep, they get food more quickly, so you will risk less idle time from lack of food collection. But sea farms being dropped here, both players still in the Dark Age at 25 pop. Felixaldi missing 2 sheep here as well, which is unfortunate. Could be also a reason for the early farms here. But looks like he's going for the tick up. They will have pretty similar uptimes here with Adam with more or less same amount of farms as well. 7 farms for each player, I think. It's 8 for Felixaldi, so. See both players going for the wall off as well. Looks like Felixaldi will have a bit of a broader walling approach. And looks like you should be okay here. I don't see any immediate holes. So from the setup, it could look like both players are going for the fast castle style approach here. Felixaldi with 1 more on gold. That's probably also to make sure the archer's production can be sustained early enough here, but the uptime's not very significantly different here. Adam with militia forward here now. Slavs, of course, have strong infantry as well. Alright, Olaf, see you around. So militia obviously providing scouting, so even if they can't do any damage here, it's still a means of scouting the base, and if you can't get in, at least you could use them as scouting resources to get a grasp of the map as a whole here, right? But Felixaldi going for the double palisades here now, just wants to make sure these Slavs infantry won't get in here. Both players also going for the castle age with and getting some eco upgrades here. Felixaldi with 2 more population though, and just a few percent behind. So it's going to be a 2 villager lead for Felixaldi going into the next stage. Now dropping the barracks, and we'll probably be dropping a range as soon as the wood eco allows as well. Actually, it really rushes up this barracks. Maybe wants to get range up soon just to deal with the rush here and not be bothered with them breaking through and causing frustration. So see, Adam securing much of the terrain here as well. Is actually has surprisingly few resources within the vicinity of his base. He's secured his side stone, his main stone, and his main gold here, but then there's golds, all three other, or his two side golds and another neutral gold here, all kind of outside his base. So he will be desperate for a castle or some kind of presence here to make sure all these goals don't get denied as the game goes further on. But Castle Age kicks in, town centers go up at least another town center for Adam here, and probably the same for Felixaldi, securing his main gold, chasing the Drush away, and now starting to queue archers here. So 2, but soon to be 3 TCs for Felixaldi. Adam with only the 2 for the time being. Will likely be adding more soon enough. Has to be said, of course, as well, that Britain's TCs are cheaper wood-wise, so it's easier to get to the 3 TC boom with Britain's on any map. So it looks like the range is coming up for Adam as well. Some defensive purposes here with skirms, but if he goes for the cavalry play himself with slabs, as he also could on an open map like this, he will have skirms on the ready to deal with enemy pikes. Looks like both players are going for the boom approach here. It's third TC being added for Adam right now, but the villager counts still arguably pretty similar here. Still going for a little bit annoyance with the militia forward here, but of course won't let them in and cause an annoyance inside of his own base. Felixaldi going for the fourth TC here with Britons actually. So wants to secure these woodlands, dropping out their archery range, and though still only with archers, he will probably be going for the crossbow upgrade soon enough. But more importantly, with 4 TCs against 3, if he can sustain 4 TC production, he will be running away with the villager lead. He's already at the 4 villager lead here, but that could be extended if he commits to the upgrades and production here. Military count is 6 to 9 for the moment. I assume that's mainly archers for our Britain's player, now taking crossbow, and then skirms to respond to that from the Slavs player. Yep, Felixaldi reveals his crossbow numbers. Shouldn't be a surprise being up against Britons that the Britain's player is going for archers here. Meanwhile, the lead skirm is being teched by our Slavs player here. Queuing a couple more lead skirms here. It's 13 to 4 military for now, but the crossbows will need to break in through the palisades somewhere to do any significant damage here. Useful scouting intel for Felixaldi on this side though, to see 3 golds in the spot here. Now he should know about all these 3, and once he scouts his enemy's walls as well, he will see that could be that his opponent is away from most of his golds here, which could be significant in the long run. As an Archers player, I would be, were they both going this close to an opponent with the strong siege though. It could be an siege workshop lurking in the background here as a defensive measure against the Archers, but for the moment, of course, only elite skirmishers for Adham here, who is just falling slightly behind the villager, but seems to be very, very consistent on his 3 now 4 TC production. So should probably even out if either of them have either TC at the point, just like Felixaldi has at this moment. The ballistics will coming in, crossbows, run in, run straight out again. Oh, nice split up from Adham there, catching 2 crossbows in one volley there, so nice pickoffs. KD 3-2 now, and skirms, elite skirms chasing 8 elite skirms against 7 crossbows here, but some of them weakened as well. Bad news for Felixaldi, but every little bit loses. He's still only at 2 ranges, but now dropping a couple of stables, of course, as a reaction to the elite skirms on the field. I think he would benefit from extending his archer mass more as well, even when there are skirms on the field, but maybe he's will be committing to the light cab first, and just to make sure he has an answer to the easy answer to the skirms that are now moving forward. So looking at the eco setups here, lots more gold and food in the bank for Adham. Fantastic bit of 50 farmers now, setting up for an what should be a much earlier Imperial Age than his archer players' current boom here. It's 107 villagers for Felixaldi against 99, but he's much more heavily on wood here, meaning that he has fewer on food and overall fewer on gold as well. He's actually being put off gold here for a moment. So gold situation for Felixaldi is well, he has the main gold secured with the TC here, but once that runs out, or preferably before, he will need to reach out to get to the more neutral golds. And Felixaldi not with the greatest amount of scouting, at least not on this side, so he is missing a couple of neutral golds here to take, but now has knights chasing the skirms here. For some reason pulling back his knights now though, he may want to provide some protection for the builders going to drop a TC on the neutral gold here. No, it's actually his side gold, his 4-tile gold, and another TC. That's going to be 6 TCs total for Felixaldi here, but mainly for defensive and looming purposes, I assume. Really wants to spike the gold income up here. Meanwhile, we see Adham in his full wall base, not really receiving any significant damage. Added a monastery as a response to the knights that were chasing his own skirmishers, and puts up a defensive castle near his golds here. So should be securing these golds nicely. He will be first to the Imperial Age as well, so he should be in a good spot to do serious push here. Now has a few spearmen on the field as well, so these knights will be gunners pretty soon. Military count very much in favor of Felixaldi now though. He has 31 military against whatever Adham has, but Adham also 70% Imperial Age with Felixaldi. Not exactly preparing for the click just yet. Worst case here, Felixaldi will be running straight into the forward castle here. I think he should be aware any moment now. He will be careful to challenge skirmishers on the hill there, so he might actually stay on the ground here, but he's losing numbers needlessly here now, I would say, and it's not, well, he pays attention once the castle starts firing, so he puts off the crossbows here. KD 18-18 now, but still arguably better value for Adham, who has been mainly doing skirms defense here and preserving gold, and is set up here with a crazy amount of food and gold ready to produce lots of mounted units from his stables here. Now Imperial Age kicking in for Felixaldi as well. He has a boom lead with close to 10 villagers. I think Adam is sticking with his 4 TCs and within his home base for the moment, but preparing the expansion here with some great mobility from his stables now, adding taking Hussar. He is in Imperial Age after all. And also adding some pikes always on to deal with the fewer Britain's knights on the field here. But this time it's Felixaldi expanding nicely on the map here to the neutral resources, now dropping yet another TC on the gold here, so he really wants to claim this resources. These knights could take this fight easily. There's 4 knights against 1 hussar here, but just lures Adam into the castle fire here instead, and yeah, will delay any forward coming this way. So both players floating good ecos right now. Felixaldi actually running a bit short on wood. I wonder what his transition is going to be here. He's very heavy on food and gold now. So scores look pretty similar, but it's Felixaldi with most of the golds on his side on the map. So with all the neutral golds collected for Adam on this side, it seems like almost an unfair map generation with with golds more spread out on Felixaldi's side, but they're both expanding slowly but surely, and here comes the third push from Adam as Felixaldi reaches the Imperial Age. Lots of upgrades kicking in for Felixaldi at the moment. We're getting Obelisk, getting Cavalier actually. But will now risk having Hussars running into his base to raid. So 3-4 tribes now forward for Adam to deal with one of the Britain's castles here. Means less treb production. He has knights inside there waiting for the Cavalier upgrade, but they will be ungarrisoned very soon now as the castle takes enough damage. But all things considered, Felixaldi cleans up nicely here, doesn't lose too many Cavaliers, but can't really move forward in this direction with the castles here, so nice job of Adam here to expand and take control of the hill and make sure that no green expansion can happen close to the golds that he will be needing further in the game here. Looks like another castle is being dropped from Felixaldi, or did he lose a foundation? That would be disastrous if that's the case. Now he's dropping it at home, so that's good. That should be going up easily, but he's losing 2 of his forward-ish castles here now with running into Hussars with the Cavaliers on the castle fire, so he's been losing Hussars numbers here. I wouldn't say needlessly, but taking bad trades here against mainly trash units. Did of course clean up a couple of traps as well, so arguably it could be justified, but Siege Ram now in for Adam here. Looking at the scores being completely similar here, with Adam with a significant villager lead here, and is likely able to sustain more production in the long run. He can afford another castle as well. He has 13 on stone, and he has 15-ish population lead here now, and just commits to the slow forward push here with siege rams, with trebs, with hussars. Hussars providing a nice meat shield against Obelisk, and also a great raiding unit, of course, to move forward. There isn't an opening just now, but Adam keeps expanding and drops the castle now on this neutral 3-tile gold as well. He is pop capped, and so is his opponent, getting close too, so their military numbers are pretty close here. Using the trap here with an attack round to open up a bit for the pathing here among the trees. The pathing can be horrible on this map here, considering you have all of these straggler bits here and there, and yeah, basically woods everywhere. to push with a couple of siege ram, a ton of halves. Halves will act as a meat shield against the Arbalest, while the siege ram will just pound away and also tank some archer fire. Siege Workshop will go down, and this should leave Adam with the opportunity to just extend his borders, getting infantry or melee attack upgrades now here as well. Losing threads here though to Felixaldi's Cavaliers though, so a nice snipe from Felixaldi there, keeping the siege numbers at bay for now, but siege rams will be moving closer, and for sure there will be more siege added to take out key production buildings here. Town centers on the neutral resources. The golds have been running out here on these sides actually, and now Felixaldi is expanding to the golds on this side it seems, but there's already a castle here as well and some villagers, so Adam could be preparing a push at this side as well. Here comes one hussars to scout the map maybe a little bit and see the expansion of Felixaldi here. Felixaldi is inside with a couple of cavaliers in Adam's base though, but Adam will be... Adam has actually lost or deleted a couple of villagers here because they're pretty even now, and the cavaliers causing annoyance here since there's no defense at home for Adam right now, but and this time it's Felixaldi with the population lead here now with 3 Britain's traps firing away. Putting up a good fight here with Cavaliers running forward to deal with the traps and siege here as well, and this Onager might go down as well, as lots of gold down the drain for Adam here, who looks in a bit of a more rough spot now, but he still has another defensive castle in the back here and is now adding helps against the mounted units of Felixaldi, but with Britain over Arbalists to back this, even with the Yeoman and all the appropriate upgrades here, it's easier said than done to challenge Arbalest masses here with the, for example, siege, because they simply outrange what siege you can put to the field. But a little bit of Trebbe Hussar push on this side now. Adam will be making an opening, has some stables here as well, so we'll be getting raids in and have Hussars here to deal with any siege going for his side here. Get some beautiful onager hits in here as well, so unfortunate for Felixaldi there. Lots of situation to attend to at the same time here. Light Cow won't even reach the onagers here either, and the onagers could now help take out the castles, but in the meantime Felixaldi will likely take out this forward castle of Adam. But this trap needs to be dealt with as well. It's actually completely undefended here, and will go down to Light Cav on this side. With any luck taking out the TC before that can happen. Yeah, he takes the foundation, so that's quite a bit of stone and wood down the drain for Felixaldi here, but players much back and forth here. They are fighting over the resources and the map control, and they have basically half of the map each here. Arguably Felixaldi with a bit more control here, but also we're running out of the golds, neutral golds that he has been taking. And Adam, meanwhile, floating lots of gold for himself, is taking this gold now. He's run out of 2 piles here as well. This game could go to a late game trash fight actually if this keeps up, because the actual gold piles might run out. Looks like Adam could be missing, losing control over this castle as well. It was a bit unfortunate that the Hussars weren't able to snipe this one in time before the castle went down, but again, there's so lots of stuff to attend to all over the map here. Another blue stable going up in the corner here. Meanwhile, Captains are coming forward to try and take them out, but there are Hussars here ready to deal with them, and that shouldn't be an issue. Felixaldi now taking probably Warwolf for his traps. These traps will deal splash damage, and they will do nicely against groups of halbs or other infantry or ranged units staying clumped up somewhere. Both players more or less pop-capped here. Felixaldi responding to the upcoming Hussar raids with adding more barracks here, but they are being denied by Adam here. Hussars now raiding a gold, and gold control is key here as long as there's gold on the map. This one is up for grab for both players at the moment, nothing really defending it, but Hussar raids doing work here is 120 against 138 villagers now, but this number will be diminishing for Felixaldi for sure, because he doesn't have any pikes or helps at home to deal with the Hussars running through his economy now, so this has to be annoying for sure. Meanwhile, there's some action in the middle. One Treb will go down to Onager fire here. That's 4 Onagers now dealing with Treb. Another castle has come up on this hill to defend the woods and golds and whatnot in the back here, and lots of helps now running forward. Probably Droshina helps for Adam here to take out production and take good fights here, and this now villager counts diminishing for both players. Cavaliers again in Adam's base, getting some pickups here, but looking at the resources, still Adam floating ridiculous amounts of food or gold here, and this well set up for the late game here for more play. He's actually taking into Siege Honor now, which will kick in after this Siege Honor has been produced. That could be huge, but also a bit unlucky that the Siege Honor upgrade is coming after the Siege Honor, which will mean that he risks losing some Honors before the actual Siege Honors can upgrade can kick in here. Felixaldi with huge military lead here over Adam at 72 to 41, but still with Siege Honors that will soon be on the field here. Any melee unit except maybe Light Cav will struggle here. So Siege Onager now taking it as a slow upgrade. Meanwhile, Onagers are being lost here, but look at the food and gold count. Wood count pretty low for Adam at the moment, though maybe not the most efficient woodlands at this current moment, but there's still gold being mined by him here, and Felixaldi is off gold at multiple places here, is being harassed by Hussar raids here, so that's real bad news for him. So let's see the Siege Onager upgrade, not even 50% yet, so that was a bit unfortunate to have that screwed up behind other siege production rather than having it kicking right for upgrades right at the correct moment. Splitting up the Siege Onagers here, but Britain's archers, again, they have more range. It's 5+6 range for the West against 8+1 for the Onager. But Siege Rams now ready to soak fire as well. This is a significant amount of Siege Rams for the Styles player here against Britons who don't have Siege Rams themselves. Light Cav is their best option to deal with them, maybe Champions if they can get to it as well, but you don't want to challenge a Stabs player with infantry, obviously, because they have the Droshina upgrade for the infantry. Having infantry deals splash damage, which is pretty huge. So a very significant number of Siege Rams going forward now, as Felixaldi is, would say he's running out of resources, he's committing heavily, he's putting down a castle now on his golds here to protect both golds on this side. Meanwhile, Adam has reclaimed this gold, and he is with a more than 2,000, almost 3,000 score lead here after all. Now ramming down some castle, doesn't need Trebs this guy, now his Siege Onagers coming forward as well and adding even more siege forward here together with his halves, and such a strong half siege Hussar push here to deal with anything that Felixaldi has to defend, and is beginning to look rather grim for Felixaldi's base again here during the pushes. Hussars raiding on one side, Siege Onagers here, and then some blue every here and there across the map to take some even further control. Adam, yeah, still has gold in the bank, still mining gold. In the GG is called. GG well played to both players. Seems still like not too uneven games. It's just in the late game Adam is just so much stronger or has the better strategy and sid picks for him, and it brings the set to 4-0, and congratulations to Adam for reaching the final. So look at the stats here again. Eco lead significant for Slavs, not too surprising actually with their fantastic farm eco and that kind of potential. Total score ending with plus 500. The late game for Slavs pretty crazy with siege pushes and Druzhina helps to back it. KD 468 to 381, so it's also an eventful game here, but the buildings raised being key here in the end with Bazaar rates on one side, denying Felixaldi of some of his gold, and yeah, Bazaar rates from the Slavs player as well, actually, in addition to the siege, Onager siege rampush here. Real tough to beat back for Britons being mainly an archer civ. Uptimes, very similar here all over. Adham with a significantly earlier Imperial Age here though, not committing too much to army until the actual Imperial Age, so playing into Slav's strengths here. And both players the same amount of castle and Felix, although actually collecting some relics, giving him some extra gold there, but simply not enough. So, that's it for Necropolis Grail for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm hoping to be back with some final casts, but I might have some Wi-Fi issues this week due to going off to work, so it remains to be seen. But anyway, good luck to the players in the finals, and yeah, see you around some other time.